Wam kili kili.
Wam kili kili.
Wam kili kili.
Wam kili kili.
Hello, my Mossop. Normally you work for Tokara.
Yes.
It's a very famous new winery on the way from Stellenbosch to Franschhoek. But today we have one of your own wines. This wine, the name of this wine is Max, and that's your own little winery you're doing, or what?
The owner allows me to make my own wines. I use the Tokara facility, the cellar.
Okay.
I do small production. I'm limited to 1,000 9-litre cases, of which the max is about 500 to 550 cases a year. And it's a contract I have with him that I'm understanding that I can make my own wine.
So that's a real boutique wine from South Africa.
Yeah, it's a very, very handmade wine. Very focused. A lot of attention goes into this wine because it's such a small production.
And you grow the grapes or you buy the grapes?
I buy the grapes in. I have long-term contracts with 3 grape growers. I've been using their fruit from the beginning. 2 in the what we call the Bottleray area, quite a lovely site. Hartenberg Estate is in that area, and then the Merlot is from the same valley as Tokara.
Okay, but it's not only Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot; it's also Petit Verdot in the wine.
Yeah, Petit Verdot is a variety that I love. I'm excited about its potential in South Africa. With the Tokara wines, I use 10 to 15% on our wines. This wine is 20% Petit Verdot, which would be considered quite a high percentage.
Yeah, it's very high if you compare it with Bordeaux. Normally they have not more than 2 or 5% of Petit Verdot in a blend.
Yeah, it's I think I have very little experience in Bordeaux. I've never worked there, but I have traveled through there, and my understanding is it's a variety that is very uneven and very difficult to ripen in the Bordeaux conditions. We have a lot more sunlight, a lot more heat. If you plant it on the right slopes, most of the slopes that Petit Verdot is planted on is north-facing, which is the warmer slopes, where I get my Petit Verdot for Max and for Tokara. And you've got to be very rigorous with the crop production. You must make sure you keep the crop under control, as well as you must try and get it even up. Sometimes we go through the vineyard and it's flowering, but half the bunches are flowering and the other half are finished flowering. We'll then go through and reduce the crop by taking all the stuff that's still flowering and just leave what's finished flowering on the vines.
And the name Max, it's from...
Yeah.
Who is Max?
Maximilian Anthony Mossop is my son.
Okay.
He's named after his 2 grandfathers. My father was Anthony, and my father-in-law is Harold Maximilian.
Okay.
And he's just a very feisty young boy who isn't scared of life and not scared of much in general.
It's a 2005 vintage. Was this the first one? Or?
No, 2004 was the very first vintage. Quite a difficult vintage in the sense that we had a lot of heat, a lot of intense heat. We had quite angular wines in 2004. 2005 for me was a much more elegant vintage. We had a beautiful, relatively cool ripening season. Not a lot of heat spikes, and we had relatively cool nights, which is fantastic for red grapes.
Okay, let's try Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most impressive thing on this wine for me. It's his structure. It's not only fruit and tannins. The wine is deep and it's deep in structure.
My approach to wine, the style of wines I like to drink is, I like fruit in a wine. I like lots of tannin, but I want texture, mouthfeel, richness. I want it to be harmonious. Far too often you get wines that are very expressive in one aspect and there's not a lot in other aspects. So we try to make it as harmonious as possible. Quite difficult, but that's why I like to blend, because you can bring different components in, using maybe different coopers, some older wood, and you can really build up a wine through blending.
And Petit Verdot for me, it's a variety. Especially Petit Verdot is a variety you can help to blend the wine, so to bring the other components together.
Yeah. My experience for this wine specifically, the Cabernet that I use is it's almost a little herbaceous in style. Like you get the minty notes from the Cabernet, but it's got beautiful linear structure, so it's very focused. The Merlot brings all the velvety, soft red fruit, strawberries, raspberries, and the Petit Verdot is the wine that brings the spiciness, the inkiness, and these, I think, what I would describe as quite broad, almost chalky tannins. which is just such a great aspect of the wine.
Okay. How old is Max?
Max is now 4.
It's now 4.
He's 2005 was his birth year.
This was his
So
birthday,
I bottled him a couple of big bottles from 2005.
Okay, when he's 20 years old, I think he will then have a beautiful wine, a ripe one.
Thank
Okay.
you, I hope so.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Quando